Hi third graders, welcome back to your next cursive video. It's been a little while since we've had one because people were catching up and we were spending some time, whoops, sorry, I bumped my table, making corrections on our H's. And before we move on, I want to remind you of what we talked about with the H because that's going to come up again when we're working on the K. So let's look at the H to begin with here. When I start my H, I go up at an angle. I'm going up at an angle like this. Now this is what some of you were doing. You were going up at that angle, but then when you came back down right here, you went straight up and down, and then you did your H. That made your H be straight up and down. A lot of you I talked about with this. Now the next one I'm going to do is the way that you're supposed to do it. So you go up at your angle, and then you have to come back down away from where that line is, but still at an angle. So right here, I came down at an angle rather than coming down straight. Now, you wouldn't have picked up your pen if you were doing this as an actual H. So I'll do one more. Crooked, still to that side, and then back up. So remember that coming back down part has to be at the angle, not straight up and down. So we're looking for this one right here, not that one. We're going to use the same thing today, so hopefully I can maybe do a better job of making sure that you understand that as we go through the K's. So on your next page in your book, we have the cursive letter K. The K looks really tricky, but honestly, it's not that much different than the H. Just where you start coming back down here, instead of going down like you would on the H, you're going to go into touch and then make a little tail out. So we'll talk about what that looks like here. So for our cursive K, you are going to start with step number one. Step number one goes up at that angle, that same angle I just talked to you about. You're going to go up at the angle. Now when you come back down, you are going to come back down at the angle, a little bit of an angle. It's not straight. If this line was straight, then it would be right here. This line coming down is not straight. So make sure that you go up at that angle and then back down at the same or similar. This one's a little less crooked than this one, but come back down at an angle. So we go all the way up. That's step one. So step one takes you up. Step two comes, and then back down. And then step two traces that line back up like it would in the H. And then we curve around, that's a part of step two, and we make this little part here. So you trace up, make that little curve at the halfway mark, come in, and then you make your tail out. That's step three right here, making that tail outward. So watch me make one. I am going to go out at my angle, back down at my angle. See how I came back down here at the same angle? Then instead of picking up my pencil, you wouldn't have picked up yours. I did just to show you that. You're going to trace up to the dotted line, come in, connect it to your line that you already made, and then trace it back out like that. It almost looks like a capital R, except for it's only, the R part's only down here. So I'm going to make it again. I go up all the way, I come back down, and then I trace it like this and like that. There's two of them, and there are three of them. All right, I just did three of them. I see some that I can make that I could make corrections on. What you're gonna do, you only are going to make three of them right now. You're only making three, and then you're gonna show your teacher. Your teacher is gonna make sure you've got it before you do the rest of them. Once your teacher tells you that you're ready to go from these first three, then you're going to push play on the video. So do three, then show your teacher, and then come back and push play. Now that your teacher gave you a heads up on your cursive letters, I just want to show you a couple of corrections down here that I have seen from some students in the past. Remember, this is a correct K. This one's incorrect. It went almost straight up and then straight back down. And then this little part is really small right here. So there's a couple of mistakes there on that one. This one is super far away from the part that you should be tracing right here. You should be tracing this part back up. So this part is too open there, and this last one did not touch the bottom line. One more thing I see a lot of, or I saw a lot of in yours as you showed me your 3, or as you were starting to show me your 3 up here, is you were doing this. So look at this example. A lot of you went like this. Okay, this is the same mistake that I saw with your H's. You went up here and then you came straight back down. You've got to not come straight back down. You have to do this part at an angle. So now that you know the mistakes to make sure you're not making, you can go ahead and finish up your 3 rows up here. So you'll pause the video, finish the 3 rows. When you finish these 3 rows, you need to stop again and show your teacher to make sure that you didn't get more messy at the end or anything like that. So show your teacher those 3 rows of the cursive letters. And then finally, down here, you're going to be connecting your K to some other letters. So this one is a K into an E. So we have an undercurve on a K that just goes right into the undercurve on the E at the beginning of the E. So I'll do one here. Pretty shortly, once we finish all these letters, we'll be able to start writing words out of them too. We could probably start doing some words. So there's my K to my E. I should have maybe left a little bit more of a gap in mine right over here. But you can trace this as an example and then write your own. You can pause the video if you need to. Then for the K to the A, similar as the K to the E, except it's an undercurve to an overcurve. So the K leaves you off with going under, and for the A, you have to end up going over with your curve. So I'm going to make a K. K to an A. And you can trace this and then write your own. Hopefully you can be neater than that. If I was doing this with a pencil, I'd erase this and then redo the whole thing because I messed that up. Notice when I'm connecting 2 letters, I'm not picking up my pen or my pencil in between my 2 letters. Here is a C to a K. A C, there's my C into my K, just as we practiced today with our letter. Whoops, there's a mistake there. Again, if I was doing it with a pencil, I would erase it and fix that. And then my W to a K starts down here. I make 2 curved parts with a cross stroke. My cross stroke takes me right into the top half of that K. So instead of starting off with that little almost tail at the bottom, you're just going to start right off with this part in your K and then finish off your K. Hopefully the K was a little bit easier for you than the H. I know several of you had some corrections with your H, and hopefully that helped you think through your K a little bit better. If you have questions, make sure you ask your teacher, and good luck.